Hello everyone, I am Ojal Sengar, and firstly, thank you so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. I've been wanting to make like a booktube video for the longest time, but there's been excuses like, okay, I have college, I have internships, I have this, that. But now, I am completely unemployed, completely bored, and with literally too much time on my hands. So, here we have it, my first booktube channel. So, since we are doing this in July, I thought the best thing to start my YouTube video would be a mid-year wrap-up. So here we are. These are the 5 glorious books that I have read this year, which is so sad that I've only read 5 books, but it is a start and we're going to do something about it, which is this video. So in this video, I will be telling you how I rated and review these 5 books and whether or not you should read them. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first book that I want to talk about is a book that I am sure you've all heard about if you've been on BookTok, BookTube, just generally around people who read, and that is The Silent Patient by Michaelides. Now, I had this book for about a year to a year and a half before I actually started reading it, because someone told me it would get me out of a reading slump, and it did. So this book is about Theo Faber, who is a psychologist, and he believes that he can make Alicia Branson, murderer in a psych ward, speak. Because since the day of killing her husband brutally some many years ago, Alicia Branson has not spoken a word. What he wants to find out is whether she was silent or whether she was silenced. That's basically what this book is about, and it is amazing. And for me, this book is a solid 3 stars on 5 because I'll tell you why it lost points. Now, one major reason for this is if you or anyone you know has read this book, the one thing everyone's been telling you probably is that, oh my god, the plot twist is amazing, the plot twist is great, you don't see it coming. And all of that is very, very true. Except, this book doesn't have anything much to itself than the plot twist. Does that make sense? Like, everything builds up to the plot twist, which is great. But it's been a few weeks since I've read this book, and if you ask me anything else to tell you about this book other than the plot twist, I don't have anything. I genuinely do not know what was happening in this book other than the plot twist. So one is that, because now I don't remember what exactly was happening in the rest of the pages. And secondly, for a very personal reason. Now, he's a psychologist, so obviously he's using and talking in psychological terms. He wants to figure her out, so he wants to use psychological therapies. And I am a student of psychology. And if there's one psychologist that I'm guessing maybe everyone knows about, it's Sigmund Freud. And I just felt that this book took psychology too literally. Like, if you Google, tell me one main psychologist, and it showed you Sigmund Freud, I think the author just took Sigmund Freud and ran with it. There's a lot more to psychology than what this book shows. I felt that at times, his idea of how to deal with trauma, how to deal with mental illnesses was too centered on this one particular discipline of psychology. Freud's entire idea was based that everything and anything that happens to you happens in the childhood. Whatever happens to the rest of your life is a result of your childhood. If you don't like your partner now, it probably has something to do with your father. And that is true to some extent, but Freud kind of just ignored everything that happens later on in life that can also help to shape you, which is what he did in this book as well. So personally, as a student of psychology, just because I think I knew a little better, I don't know what his research process was for this book, is why I'm going to give this a 3 on 5. But would I recommend this book? 100%. Absolutely, go pick this up. This is a very fast, good read. You will get out of a reading slump and you will have lots of fun and you will love to discuss the plot twist of this book with everyone you know. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so the next book that I'm actually very, very excited to talk about, because it is by one of my absolute favorite authors of all time. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Fun fact, I picked this book up literally on 1st June. I started out Pride Month with a bang. But anyway, so this book is about August Landry. And she has just moved to New York. She's getting her degree and she doesn't trust anyone. She's kind of cynical. She's like, me and my mom against the world. We don't trust people. You gotta look out for yourself. Until she meets Jane. Jane is this absolutely enamoring, mysterious, you know nothing about her leather jacket but short hair girl. And honestly, I get it. August, I get it. So then they meet on the subway. They start falling in love on the subway. But Jane is not from here. She's stuck on the subway. She's literally teleported in time from the 1970s to today. And August, our smart freaking protagonist, is going to help her find a way to send her back. Now that's the basic crux of this book. But there is so much more to this. Just like Casey McQuiston's any other writing, this book is quirky, it's funny, and you have a lot of fun reading this. 100%. But the only drawbacks of this book is that this time Casey McQuiston has done such a wonderful job at the side characters. They are so vibrant and bright and fun that they make the protagonist, August, who is cynical, who is a little pessimistic, who is quite realistic, they make her look dull. So sometimes when you're reading this book, it gets boring because you're like, okay, August, can we get to the point? She can't. It's August. She overthinks. And for the first time ever, I was so excited when a side character entered the scene than I was when August and Jane met. So there's 4 or 5 of them and you will love to know everything about them. I don't want to give a spoiler, but there's this one side couple that I really want to spin off book about. I cannot wait. So basically, that is my only complaint with this, that August is a little bit of a cynical, pessimistic protagonist, and so the book gets cynical and pessimistic. Okay, not the book, but August's POV about everything that is happening around her gets a little pessimistic at times, which can throw you off, which can be boring at times. So I would give this a good 3.5 on 5. The only reduction in points is because August is not the best narrator of her own story. I feel like if Jane did it, that would be a different story altogether. But I understand why August was important to narrate the story. At the same time, I feel like genuinely if anyone else narrated this book, it would have been much more fun. But would I recommend this? Absolutely. If you've read Casey McQuiston's other book like Red, White, Royal Blue, good question. A good question would be, is this better than Red, White and Royal Blue? No. It's not. But is it a very good second book to come out? A good complementary book to Red, White, Royal Blue? 100%. Please do read this book. It will not fail you. Read it in Pride Month preferably if you can. That would be iconic. And let's move on to the next book. Okay, so the next book that I read this year is this. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you've been on Book Talk or BookTube long enough, you know who the author is. You know her books. You know it's been recommended 1,000 times over. And honestly, I'm scared to give this a rating because I want to love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. And I do. I enjoy them every single time I've read it. But it doesn't impact me. It doesn't move me. Like, I'm not, oh my god, about it. It's about this band known as Daisy Jones and the Six and their rise and fall through the 70s and 80s, kind of. So, it genuinely gives you that summer on the road, party, alcohol, do this, that, this is what life is supposed to be about. It is giving those vibes, 100%. And one of the most interesting things about this is that it's written in like an interview format. So it is so easy. I, again, finished it in 3 days, read most of it on a flight. I'm not a flight reader mostly, but because of the interview format, I could just skim through the pages. It's extremely easy to read, but again, like I said, Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing does not impact me. I know she writes so realistically. I love the way she writes because she captures the person in the most real, raw form, and that is beautiful. That is perfect, and I know it works for so many people. I am a consumer of extremely over-the-top, lovey-dovey, like fiction. So if you give me real characters, I'm disappointed. I'm like, I already live in the real world. I don't want to. Hence, so just for that, her writing doesn't stick with me. I might not be buying more books by her. The two I've read, Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones, absolutely 100% would recommend them. This is a solid 3.5 on 5 for me. 0.5 stars that extra for the interview format. So easy to read, so fun to read. And yeah, the characters are great. You don't connect with them, but you want to know what happened with them. And you get mad at them, you appreciate them, you're irritated by them, and you want them to succeed. So for that, a 3.5 on 5, I recommend a good read. Okay, this next book is really interesting to me because a lot of people knew about it and I didn't. And this is Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford. I was actually at my local bookstore and I saw this pure white, black and red cover and I just knew I had to have this book. And so I did. I knew nothing about it. I just went on Goodreads. I saw that this had amazing ratings, so I picked it up. And do I regret that decision? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so this book follows a 15-year-old boy called Jeff who wakes up and finds himself in a psych ward. And he is convinced that he does not belong there. He's trying to convince everyone around him, his primary psychiatrist, that he does not belong there and he's not answering any questions till they let him out. So he's put in like a 45-day program, 45-day mental health program where he has to talk to a therapist every day, go to group therapy to sort of get him better. And he doesn't think he needs any getting better, but it says, but a funny thing happens as he realizes he's not as different from his fellow patients as he first thought. So obviously this line kept me hooked. I was like, I want to know what happened to Jeff. Nothing much, honestly. Okay, so this book definitely, as you can tell from the title, from the cover, it deals with the themes of mental illness, suicide, adolescence. And these are some very tough and sensitive themes to be working on. And this book does a very good job of capturing how things are sort of magnified in an adolescent's mind, what things can hurt a child of 15 years old and people around them might not even realize. And in that way, this book is good. But when I was reading this, I was like, why would you choose to write it this way? Why would you choose to write Jeff's character the way that you did? Because honestly, at sometimes Jeff's character comes off like a pick-me girl. Like there's this point in the book really early where he's like, you know, nobody has girl best friends. Boys don't have girl best friends. But I do. It's the truth. Unnecessary. And he's rude and sarcastic to his psychiatrist, to so many other people for absolutely no reason, which I get. He's 15. We all were kind of rude and sarcastic to people. But his character seems too unrelatable to me now, to unrealistic, like someone I don't like much. So I didn't really connect with him, and somewhere halfway in this book I kind of guessed what the problem was as well, so that sort of ruined the fun for me. But then I found out that this book was published in 2008. That's literally more than a decade ago. And then it put into perspective why this book had so many good ratings, why Jeff was written this particular way, and why we're talking about this book. Like I said, the themes that this book deals with: mental illness, adolescence, suicide. 2008, these things were not talked about. I am in 2024. I read this book in 2024. And now we talk about mental illness, suicide, and what a child goes through way more than we did back in 2008. So in keeping that in mind, this book was definitely groundbreaking back then. And I can understand the Goodreads rating. But for me personally, this book is a 2.5 because Jeff's character is so 2008 that I cannot relate to him in 2024. But keeping in mind the context that this book is that old, is talking about such sensitive issues about mental health, school life, what a child goes through, how a kid tries to figure himself out, and several other themes that I will not disclose. I will let you find out. Back in 2008, these themes, I will give this at 3 stars just for that. But I didn't connect with the characters, still like the book, guessed the plot twist, so that dulled it down for me. It's a solid 3 on 5 for me. Okay, now the last book out of my 5 and the only 5-star rating in my Goodreads this year is Kim Ji-young, born 1982, by Nam-Joo. This tiny book is a powerhouse. It is so thought-provoking. I had to stop myself at intervals because I did not want to finish this in one. This is not one of those books that you want to devour just like that. You need to sit with this book. You need to sit and read and feel what the author is trying to tell you here. Now, this book follows the life of Kim Ji-young from her birth, 1982, to the present of this book, which is 2016. And through the experiences of Kim Ji-young, we see the experiences of every woman on the planet. It deals with things like a woman being harassed late at night and then the father yells at the daughter. Her being overlooked for promotion or having to give up things because the family prefers the son over the daughters. These are things that every woman has felt, and I think especially women in Asia, South Asia, will be able to relate to so many more instances of this book, and you will relate in ways that will make you so angry. And I think that's where the book succeeded in doing what it meant to do. It makes you, if you're a woman, this book is going to make you so angry. This book is going to make you want to change things, to leave your house, to do something, hit men, I don't know. But there's nothing new you and I as women will know. But all the men watching this, please do read this book. Please do try to get an insight on what the women around you are going through on a daily basis. And take your time reading this book. 100% read this book, a 5 on 5 definitely. And the best thing about this book, which I found very interesting, is that it actually uses stats and research papers to explain different points of Kim Ji-young's life. Like if you're telling about how she got overlooked for promotion, there's going to be like a little citation sort of thing, and there's going to be a research paper about that right down there on the footnotes to tell you that this book is not false. She's talking about real truth, she's talking about data, she's talking about stats that have been studied but no one's doing anything about it. If you can't tell the passionateness in my voice yet, I am absolutely moved by this book. I've recommended this to my mom, I've told my sister to read it. I'm going to force them to read this because I genuinely think every woman and every man, every girl, every boy, everyone should be reading this book. Please do buy this book. I 100% recommend. You are not going to be disappointed. And extremely easy to read. If you don't follow K-pop or just like general K-drama, maybe the names might confuse you, but stick with it. Get through this book. You will not regret it. And with that, I have come to an end of my mid-year wrap-up. Obviously, I'm 100% open to more recommendations because I've literally only read 5 books. This is so disappointing. I do have my TBR, which obviously I will not be finishing anytime soon. So, please do drop me any good book recommendations, ones that you rated 5 stars, ones you didn't maybe rate 5 stars down in the comments. And also, let me know how you rate these books. If you feel the same, I would love to have a conversation with you because my friends don't read. I have no one to talk to about this, hence this channel. So if you feel the same way, if you feel differently also, genuinely, put a comment down. I would love to talk to you. And if you did like this video and if you would like to have more discussions about such books, please do like and subscribe. I'm going to try to upload as often and as frequently as I can. I have ample time on my hands. So please do like and subscribe. And it would mean a lot to me. And thank you so much for watching my very first video. I hope you have a wonderful, great day ahead. And lots of reading to you, lots of great books to you. I wish the best books to you. Thank you so much. And bye.